motion that the cat has.
It is hands and paws and feet.
There's a term for it, though.
Is it quadrupedal or?
Even more specific than that.
Oh, goodness.
Digitigrade. Digitigrade.
How do you spell that?
Digit. Grade. What do you think that means?
I think
That's right. No, grade, not great. Sorry.
Walks on its digits.
It walks on its toes.
like this.
So wait, are we not?
Grade.
So we would
Grade.
Wait, so we would be called pedigrade then, wouldn't we? Because we don't walk on our toes, we walk on our feet.
I don't know that that's the term.
What does this mean?
Raphy.
Because it says it all the time in the book.
Yeah, it's just talking about some of the connective tissue
Do
connection.
we have to know that? What's
The
this?
shank. Shank is like your shank.
Your
Layer.
butt?
No.
No, like your lower leg?
Yeah.
Okay. What
Yeah.
is pes?
Pez are feet. All right. You ready to record yet? I've been waiting for you.
Yeah, no, I've been recording.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Hey out there and let her la la la. All right, so this cat is a bit worse for the wear, but we'll try to get through it. So you guys have to know a couple things. The cutaneous maximus muscle is going to be on the fur that you took out. So if you want to see that, look at the fur, the underside of the fur. The platysma, just like in humans, is going to be the neck area, and most of that's removed as well. So that's very thin in the cat. But again, anybody want to demonstrate the platysma? Close. This is like this. The platysma. Yeah, very good. All right. So the pectoralis major and minor. Looking at it. So I did accidentally cut here. Pay no attention. But the pectoralis major is here. The pectoralis minor is there. And again, right or left were appropriate if there's two portions or two heads. Okay? Yeah.
Is it called minor because it's smaller or because it's beneath the major?
It's beneath in this case. Yeah.
It looks big. It looks way bigger.
It is way bigger, but it is beneath. The xiphi humoralis is missing. Here's the xiphoid process of the sternum, the apex of it. It should connect all the way to there. I got hungry. But it does connect the humerus to the xiphoid process in this guy. Okay? And here's the other part of it that was also eaten. I apologize. The pectoantebrachialis muscle, booyah, okay, here, on either side. And then you have the clavobrachialis, which runs along here. Just above the pectoantebrachialis muscle, the clavobrachialis here and here. Okay. I didn't find very good examples of the abdominal muscles, but I think some of you guys did. So there's the external oblique, which I can easily find. The internal oblique is here, but the transverse abdominis I was having a hard time finding in my cat. But again, some cats had pretty easily visible. So look at theirs.
Who's had easily visible?
That cat is fantastic for it.
It's okay. I went for that far. Yeah.
Something's better than nothing.
I hear you. All right, so let's look at the arm muscles and the superficial back muscles. So you guys need to know the triceps. You have the long head, the lateral head, and then if you open up between them, you have the medial head. Okay? That was it flexing for you, Maria.
I was very impressed.
Yeah, thanks. Working out. You have the latissimus dorsi muscle, the back muscle, here. You have, right next to the triceps, you have the spinal deltoid. You have the acromiodeltoid, this muscle here. Spinal deltoid, acromiodeltoid. Again, this is the clavobrachialis still. Then you have the levator scapulae ventralis, which is kind of hard to see in my cat. I'll try to partition it here. But it's this band going right here and tucking underneath the spinal deltoid. And underneath, this is still a portion of the clavobrachialis. Okay? But then you move into the trapezius muscles on the back. You have the clavotrapezius muscle here, the acromiotrapezius, and the spinotrapezius. Okay? Clavotrapezius, acromiotrapezius, spinotrapezius. Now, a lot of students are asking, how do we distinguish between the clavobrachialis into the clavotrapezius? Your book doesn't do a good job. It's hard to see. If I was asking for the clavotrapezius, I'll pin it up here. I'm asking for the clavobrachialis, I'll pin it down here. I'll make it pretty obvious. So again, you have the acromiodeltoid, spinodeltoid, levator scapulae ventralis. So you have the spinotrapezius, acromiotrapezius, and clavotrapezius. Clavobrachialis, triceps lateral head, triceps medial head, and triceps long head. Okay? Latissimus dorsi. All right, let's.
Which one's the long? Which one's the lateral then?
Lateral is going to be the most lateral.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
It's the brachial muscles.
So the deep.
So this is most lateral? Because they kind of seem
Yeah.
like they're in the same plane.
Um.
If you went like
Now
this,
are they?
I mean, isn't it like right?
It's still most lateral. At that point.
So are we pretending the cat's
I don't
paws
know.
are like
I am.
this? Like this?
The question is, what is an anatomical position for a quadruped? Usually it's this.
Okay, see that would be helpful then.
Usually it's this.
Yeah.
But if you
Because
also
then
look
it
at,
would
like,
be most lateral.
The lateralis, right? Triceps lateralis lines up with everything.
Lateral
Perfect.
head.
Lateral head.
Mm-hmm.
And then the long head kind of more points down. This one like goes sideways like this. This one almost feels like it's facing downwards as opposed to facing outwards. Does that make sense?
Keep touching the cat.
I'm okay with touching the cat. I'll wash my hands.
Will you wash your hands?
He's a beast. Watch out for that guy. He's a beast. He's good. Okay, let's go over the scalenes, and well, really, let's go over the serratus ventralis first. Serratus ventralis, named because of the serrated edges. I know it's not as clean here, but that's these here. Serratus ventralis here. Okay, then you have these series of 3 muscles. 1 muscle, 2 muscle, and 3 muscle. And they're kind of radiating out from that. You have, and those are the scalenes. You have the scalenus anterior, the scalenus medius here, and then the scalenus posterior here.
Is it on the posterior side of the cat?
Well, it's
just
pointed towards
posterior?
the posterior.
So relative
That's
to
the
one
back.
another there.
Yeah.
Okay.
The serratus dorsalis, so if this is the serratus ventralis, dorsalis would be closer to the dorsal portion. And if you reflect the latissimus dorsi, the serratus dorsalis is here. Okay, the serrated edge is here. Now, your book does distinguish between cranial and caudal portions, but we're not going to do that. Okay.
So
go
where's the
over-
serratus ventralis again? In contrast.
So again, here's the scapula here.
Right.
The serratus, just remember the serratus ventralis is attached to the scapula. Okay, and the
Is it-
dorsalis is attached to the body wall.
Could you say it's on top?
Yeah, you can say that. It's more superficial, or the dorsalis is deeper.
More
All right.
on the sides as opposed
Let's
to
do the shoulder muscles. Again, if your cat is praying, as all good cats do.
Are you gonna go back and do this one?
We'll do that now.
I didn't know where they are.
Good point. All right, so we have a series of muscles, the intercostalis externus and intercostalis internus. Externus is here, just below the serratus ventralis, here. And then you take that layer up, and right underneath it is the intercostalis internus. Externus, internus.
what separates those from the obliques?
The obliques are down here.
Okay.
Okay?
So where do they like run? From there?
Yeah, from here in this area here.
Oh, it's just okay.
And then if you open up
What's their function?
to help elevate the ribs. So if you open up on the inside, and here are some ribs here, in between the ribs, right here, you know, the good part's on when you're making ribs at home. That's your transversus thoracicus. Now you know the transversus abdominis down here, it continues up here, but up here it's called thoracic because it's associated with the thoracic cavity and in between the ribs.
So it's not that thin part, it's that thick part.
It's the thick part here, yeah, on the inside.
Let me see.
So here, kind of, if you're thinking about it as a human.
Here's a rib, in between it is the thoracis, the transversus thoracis.
So these, basically.
Yeah, the internal tissue parts.
So what would the origin and insertion be?
Ah, you should look that up. It should be roughly the same, right? One rib and another.
So why would we why do we discern between the thoracis and the intercostella?
It's like because they're layers.
So the deepest one.
Deepest would be the thoracic.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, let's go over the shoulder muscles. Okay, cat's praying position here. We have the rhomboids, the rhomboideus capitis, the rhomboideus cervicus, and the rhomboideus thoracis. It's been ripped, I apologize. Here. Okay. Then we have a little deeper than the trapezius muscles. If you find the spine of the scapula, which is running right about here, on top would be the supraspinatus muscle. On the bottom of that would be the infraspinatus muscle.
Okay.
Infraspinatus, supraspinatus, and then subscapularis is on the inside. Okay, subscapularis, and then you also need to know the teres major, which is right here. Teres major.
I'm sorry, where's the teres major?
So kind of like its internal lats almost.
You're gonna okay, it's deeper.
Right, deep to
Okay.
the latissimus dorsi.
That's fine.
I'm
But there's
just
a lot
trying
of
to
things deeper to that. I'm just saying.
Okay.
All right, let's go over the. So we went over the triceps, and then underneath, here's the the clavobrachialis. Underneath it is the brachialis muscle. Okay, you can see some of it peeking out here, but it's also under here as well. So that's the brachialis. The brachioradialis comes across, hitting the radial side of the hand. Okay, and that's here. You need to know the extensor retinaculum, which is just a series of fibrous connective tissue that helps coordinate these muscles and their movement on the manus, on the hand, on the pes. Pes tends to be foot, manus is like a feet.
Yeah, I tried to figure that out this weekend.
Good. You need
So
to know.
they just aid in hand movement.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah,
It
I mean,
says
it helps coordinate it.
It's tendons and
Yeah.
these muscles in place.
So here are all these tendons going into one place. And so it helps to
So
make
you
sure
said it's a series of connective tissue fibers.
fibrous connective tissue, yeah. Dense. So brachioradialis, you have to know the extensor carpi radialis longus, which is here. And again, it's on the radial side. It extends, which means it does this to the hand, and it influences or crosses the carpal joint here. So the extensor carpi radialis longus. Then the one next to that, extensor digitorum communis. Again, it's influencing more than just that radial side. Next to that, we have the extensor digitorum lateralis. So we have the communis, the lateralis, really functioning in the same thing, but a series of muscles doing that. You have the extensor carpi ulnaris, and that's on the ulnar side. So it's still, if this were to contract, it would pull and tug the hand up, but it's only on the ulnar side. Okay? Hence the name. Then you have two flexor muscles that you need to know. The flexor carpi ulnaris, again, the ulnar side. Mine, I ripped when I think I ripped it with you guys, trying to tug on this. So let's see if he does it. Watch. Put the camera up. Nothing. Okay, but that's it right there. The flexor carpi ulnaris, and then the flexor digitorum superficialis is here. It's the superficial one.
This
Right.
one. This here.
So
Flex the wrist.
So it should flex if we were to give it a nice little tug. Oh, look at that. Did you get that on the camera? Look at that. Hello! It's not doing it. But, yeah, so that's that. Questions? A couple more.
Do we need to?
Yes! My. She's just keeping me honest. I'm tired of talking. All right, very good. The trot muscles, the trot. Okay, so we had to do some dissection here. You have the digastric muscles on either side, right and left. And then here. You have the mylohyoid muscles here. And that's just one muscle. Okay. You have the sternohyoideus muscles, and there's two bands, 1 and 2. Right or left?
Wait, say that again.
1 and 2. Sternohyoideus
Right
muscles.
and left, yeah.
The geniohyoid muscles are going to be right and left.
Those aren't just different sections of the sternohyoid, are they? Or stylohyoid?
No. And what's missing here, and what tends to help, is they're usually a complex of blood vessels that run across. And that's kind of the distinction between sternohyoideus muscle and the smaller geniohyoid muscle. Okay?
And
We
there.
done? Oh, the masseter muscle. No, we're not done. Masseter muscle. Here. The cheek muscle. We do have things that show up, but not necessarily required. This is a salivary duct, the parotid duct here. This is the anterior facial nerve. This is the posterior facial nerve. Okay,
And
good.
masseter is, again,
Cheek muscle.
okay.
Wait, so you said the mylohyoid was all one? Or do we distinguish left and right? Or just.
That's all one.
Okay.
Yep.
That's not that bad.
All right. Now let's go to the thigh muscles and the shank muscles.
Can you drop that to me? Or not drop it, but email it to me?
Man, you need to make some money off this
This is very
for a small fee. All right, so the caudal femoralis is in here somewhere. My cat has been really degraded, so find it on yours. I don't have the gluteus maximus or medius, which is kind of weird, but we won't have it, so don't worry about that. The sartorius, though, you can see. Here's the sartorius, that band of tissue, and then the biceps femoris. Again, if you guys were to go get a bucket of chicken or even Thanksgiving dinner, and you guys take the big thigh off that turkey, you're going to have some of these same muscles that you can use to study. Hey mom, hey dad, I call leg. That's all I'm saying, right? And so you have the sartorius, the biceps femoris here. If we were
Oh my
to
goodness,
look,
where's the biceps femoris here? I can see that's the hand, sorry. Okay, thank you.
now what is this muscle? Anybody? See that? Vastus lateralis. Good. Now if we look medially, get this tail out of the way. Here's the sartorius again, and this is the gracilis here.
So it's medial.
If we were to reflect both the sartorius and the gracilis, we can see then a series of deeper muscles. This is the vastus, cut, back. All right, this is the semitendinosus, this is the semimembranosus, and this is the adductor femoris that you guys have to add to your list. Okay? All right. Then, to look at the quads, just like on humans, again, we've reflected the sartorius. You have the vastus lateralis, the vastus medialis, and then the rectus femoris here. The fourth one of the quads, if you remove or move to the side, is the vastus intermedius, right underneath the rectus femoris. So those are the 4 quad muscles. Looking at the shank muscles, You have a muscle that you need to add, gastrocnemius. Then we have the soleus. There. You have to know the tibialis cranialis, which is this muscle on top. You need to know the extensor digitorum longus, right next to it. So the cranialis, then the longus.
What's
Then you
a good
gotta,
distinguisher between the two, medial versus lateral or something?
I mean, one's right down that shin bone. Right
That's
down
the
tibial.
cranialis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Tibia, right down that tibia. And then lateral to that would be then the extensor digitorum longus. And then you have to know also the peroneus brevis. Right next to the extensor digitorum longus is the peroneus longus. You don't need to know that one. You got to know the one next to that one, which is the peroneus brevis.
Oh dear.
So not this one next to it is the peroneus brevis.
Sorry, Ray. Gotcha.
Okay? I think that rounds out all of our groups. The major food groups. Yeah?
Muscle, 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 muscle.
Questions? This is Dr. Kerfoot signing up.
Oh my